Good morning, everybody. I'm JPO. I am the owner and artist of the Purple Posy. I'm a content creator for Dixie Belle Paint Company, a brand ambassador for woodubend moldings, and apparently I can't speak today, and a business coach and a creative mentor for my private membership group, Painting Over Borders. So last week we started this little vintage end table over here, and you can kind of see, let me just bring y'all around real quick. You can kind of see what we were going for, and these don't have holes in them. I added these to the piece, and I've drilled a hole for the, I'm going to change out the hardware, and I'll show y'all just real quick at the end how I did that. It may seem, you know, very novice, I guess, to some people, and some people don't know how to drill holes for, you know, hardware. You can crack your wood, and there's a certain way to do it. So I'm going to show y'all that kind of towards the end. Today I'm actually going to, I'm going to use the Greek key stencil on this. I decided, I was kind of painting on the other side, and I decided I needed to bring some of the, what is this, kudzu, over to the sides to kind of even out the green a little bit. So I added the Greek key stencil, and we're gonna dry brush over it, and we're just gonna we're gonna put the green on there, and then we're going to make it kind of fade in the background, if that makes sense. I did it on the other side, and I'm gonna show y'all how I did it today. The colors I'm working with are buttercream, dried sage, and kudzu. Those are the main colors on here. And then, like I said, if we have time at the end, I'll kind of show you how I drilled that hole for the hardware. All right, so we're just gonna get started. First I'm gonna start with, first I'm gonna start with buttercream. Real pretty, like yellowish undertones of white. I'm going to be using my flat mini. I've already used this morning, so it's a little bit dirty. I had it in a baby wipe and in a bag, so it didn't dry out. But we're just going to put a real quick a base coat of buttercream on here, and this will be what we start with to go over the kudzu and the Greek key transfer. So on the sides over here, I've already painted the front. So but I need to get the sides, so I'm not thinking about it, I'm just dry brushing as I go, because this is a very, it's like an old world type finish. It's very, I did like a cross hatching on the front, which I don't do very often, but it's a pretty cool technique to do. I'm just watering the paint just a tiny bit to get it to spread. I don't have to have complete coverage on this coat right here, because we're gonna put the stencil on with the kudzu. And then we're going to dry brush some more over it, so it'll get covered up eventually. This piece is actually, I'm going to use it, I need an end table in my living room, so I'm just going to use it for myself. And if y'all saw my living room, I've got pretty much every color in the Dixie Belle Chalk Mineral line in my living room somewhere. It's very colorful, but I like it. It's very happy. Very happy. And interestingly enough, when I moved into my house, for some reason, there's no pantry in this house. It's very strange. So I don't know, if you followed me, you might remember like a wardrobe. It's like a storage cabinet thing. I painted it for my son, and it's greens. It's like it's limeade, palmetto, and then black wax. It's very bright and kind of boom in your face. That's currently being used as my pantry, which it clashes just a little bit. It wouldn't fit in my son's room. I'm thinking about repainting it. I don't know. Can't decide. Then it would have to be out of commission, and I don't know that would work. But yeah, lots of colors in my living area. All right. Like I said, it doesn't have to be completely covered. I'm gonna go fast. I have a feeling this is going to be kind of fast. All right, let me blast it with the heat gun super quick. Oh, I think I just got paint all over me. All over my face. Maybe not. All right, let's try this off. This is kind of, you can see where we're going up here too. It's going to have some dry brushing of the buttercream and the dried sage. Kind of get that going up there. Okay, so I did cut the little edges off right here so it could kind of fit in here better. It actually is almost a perfect fit. And I'm just going to go over, there's a little line right here. I'm going to go over like this, like so. And so these doors and stuff kind of stop right there. So I think I'm not so worried about going way up because it's a lower table. So if you're kind of standing up, you're not really going to see this lip under here. So I'm just going to make it even with the bottom. I should have got my tape first. And okay. All right, let's line it up again. The brush I'm going to be using to do my stencil, come on, is the Belle brush. I love the Belle brush and the French tip for stenciling. They're like the perfect brushes. All right, so like I said, this is going to be very interesting. Over here, I'm just going to tape it this way. It's got enough holes in it. It's going to go through the holes and it'll be fine. All right, the Belle brush. This is what the Belle brush looks like. Cute little brush. It's very stiff. Oh, it's stiff because I didn't water it apparently. That's not good. But it's a good stenciling brush. It's a real good stenciling brush. All right, so I'm gonna shake up my paint, and I'm actually gonna work out of the paint jar or the paint lid. Because for me, it's easier because you don't dip your brush too far in there. You can only go a certain amount down. You know, if that makes sense. All right. Don't laugh at me, okay? Don't laugh at my little technique here. The stencil doesn't have to be perfect. So the fact that it's like pulling up and I have to hold it down is fine because a lot of it is not going to show. But this is just to get kind of the base design down. I said that was going to hold it and it's not. It held it on the other side. So the little parts that peek through, you know, it's got the design on it. So I just dipped it in my lid and I'm just going to come in and just start dabbing it. And I'm holding it down as I go. And this is about the amount of paint that I'm getting every time I go in. Some places is going to be more sparse than the other, and that's fine. Like I said, we're dry brushing over it. It looks really cool when it's all said and done. I am tapping it back a little bit on my apron as well. Whoops. So when you're doing a stencil, it's important to go straight up and down instead of like trying to swirl, because these little details right here, it'll pick up the little things, and then you'll get paint under it and your design won't be as crisp. This isn't going to be crisp, but if you were using, you know, trying to get a kind of a crisper design, you can't like swirl. You've got to dab. I have several of these. Apparently I haven't used this one yet. It's shedding a little bit. So one thing I'll talk about while we're doing this is on your brushes, before you really should wash them before you use them. It will prevent the bristles coming out, which is completely normal. I mean, it's a brand new brush. To avoid that, all you do is just wash them before you use them. That's all you got to do, so you can see how they're coming out. But it's okay. It's a stencil, and I can always come back in and just pull them out. Like this one. Boom. This is kudzu. I don't know if I said that. It's a real pretty, almost like a muted green, I guess. I love this color. It's probably my favorite green in the chalk mineral line. So you can see how some of it is kind of, you know, sparse and some of it is not. And that's okay. It's flopping over there. I'm holding it pretty tight where I'm actually putting the stencil. My fingers are pretty close. I'm getting paint on them. This is so detailed. It's really hard, especially since I'm taking a corner. It's really hard to get it flat on the piece. I could have cut it, but I still would have had to, you know, tape it right here, and then it wouldn't go all the way to the side. I guess it just depends on the look you're going for, how difficult or easy it is for you, I guess. I don't know. So the front part of this is, like I said, it's like a dry cross hatch type technique. I did start it last week on this page, so you can go back and catch that replay if you want to see how I did the front. It's pretty much like I'm about to show y'all on the side. Pretty much the same concept. When I pull this off, you'll be able to see that, yes, it's flopping around, but for what we're going for, it's completely fine. Otherwise, if you have this like flat on your piece, trying to do a design like all the way across, there's extra on the edges where you can tape it down and keep it flat to the surface. It's not a problem at all. Just an FYI if you've never used these stencils or any mylar stencils. I like the Belle brush because they're short, the bristles are short, and so they're probably, they're stiffer because they are shorter. I do like the French tip as well for stenciling. I thought about going with one of the silk screens, but I haven't used the Greek key yet. I was dying to use it on something. All right, I think that's good. So let's gonna pull this back. And you can see, well, see, I messed up right there, but that's okay. We can make sure we dry brush over it a little bit. But you can see how, it's heavier in some spots and not heavier. Bring y'all in like a little bit. Just like that. It's pretty crisp for not holding it down straight, right? Pretty crisp. All right, let me put this back in my bag. And put dry brush on. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go back in with some buttercream. This is actually gonna dry quick. I got a fan on me. I'm gonna go ahead and get the buttercream ready. Shake it up again. And once we get the buttercream on, we're gonna dry brush some dried sage over it. Where do you buy your heat gun? I think I got it off of Amazon. It's just a Wagner heat gun. Just a Wagner. Is it Wagner? Yeah, just a Wagner heat gun. You can use a blow dryer. A blow dryer will work just fine to dry your paint. It's actually, like, if you're not used to a heat gun, a blow dryer might be better because it's not so hot. It blows enough hot air to dry your piece, but your heat gun, if you don't keep it moving or you decide to look over and you keep it on one spot, it'll bubble your paint. But side note, if your paint does bubble, if you'll take, I just lick my finger and I kind of smooth it out, but you can just spritz some water on there and kind of smooth it out, or get your brush and smooth it out. It looks just fine after that. All right, so I'm just getting a little bit on my brush. Actually, I'm gonna tap it back. Just get about, I don't know if you can even see that. I'm gonna have my water bottle handy because some areas I want it to blend and some areas I want it to be a dry brush. So I'm just gonna go in and just start dry brushing over it. The key to this type of look is lots and lots of layers. So I'm just going and going and going until there's no more paint on my brush. Let me bring you guys in closer. Maybe you can see better. Do like that. Okay, tap, tap back. Sprayed a little bit of water. This is a flat mini. I don't know if I mentioned that either, but this is like my go-to brush. The Scarlet brush, if you've got it, is actually really good for this technique. It's super stiff bristles. It's a little bit wider, so it covers more of the surface. That's what I used on the front, was the Scarlet. I decided to switch it up a little bit. All right, I'm gonna wet this just a tad, and I'm gonna go in with some dried sage now, just a little tiny bit. So like right here is a little bit blended, and that's kind of what I want. I want some blended, some streaks. That's just the way I like it. The true like crosshatch technique is completely dry, no water. I like a little bit of blending every now and then, here and there. I think it just looks different. Get these sides a little bit. So I had a little bit more paint on my brush, so I decided to deposit it over here. So I'm just going over layers and layers and layers. There's a big chunk right there, so I'm gonna go ahead and spritz it with water and let it blend a little bit. What I did on the other side up here, since there's kind of a harsh line right there, what I did was I just took my paint and kind of blended it in, I guess, if you will. I don't know if y'all can see that kind of going away now. You can see that kind of going away a little bit. And you just go back and forth. When I'm doing kind of stuff like this, I do not get up and look at the other side. Typically, most of the time, I do not, because I don't want it to be completely... This is more of like an old weathered kind of look, like the paint's been worn and rubbed off and paint over and, you know, all of the things. So this side may have more use than, you know, wear and tear than the other side. And that's kind of my thought process behind it. Your brush is going to hate you after this. It's going to hate you after this. Just an FYI. Hopefully you've got a brush comb. Oh, so this is heavy right here, and I don't like it. So I'm coming back in with just a little bit of the buttercream, and I'm just going to work that in until that kind of goes away. Oops, wrong color. And again, for this, I'm just working out of my lid, so I don't cross-contaminate too much my paint. Has anybody here done this technique, or they want to try it? Do you do it a different way? I've done this with, I mean, you can pretty much use any of the flat brushes if you want. I've done it with the flat large, the flat mini, the scarlet. That's it. So my whole thought process behind this was, it almost looks like, not like a German schmear, but almost like it was like painted over and then rubbed back, if that makes sense. It's almost like a German schmear in a way, like some spots are covered up and some of it's peeking through. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I need to kind of rub these edges in just a tad. It's not such a harsh line. I keep getting it too thick right there. What are we thinking? We like it? You can do as much or as little as you want. So I also thought about doing like a raised stencil with some mud and just making my own custom mud color by putting some of the white in a little jar. I've done this on a live like about a month ago, I think, and just mixing a little bit of the kudzu in there, and you could totally do that. That way, when you dry brush over it, these parts are so raised, it's a little bit more dramatic when you dry brush over it. Hey Christine, good morning. I've actually also done that with the silkscreen stencils, because the silkscreen stencils do have a little bit of raise to them after you apply them. Okay, well that's pretty much how I want it. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave it. If I come back and look at it and there's like, if it looks super weird because the other side is more, you know, darker or light, I'll come in and I can just layer more back in there. But that's pretty much the look I'm going for. And I'm gonna bring you guys around to the front. I'm just gonna show y'all real quick if you need to drill holes for hardware. Who's that? Alexandra, if you'll go to the pinned comment or to, the pinned comment in the comments here, there's a link there, and it'll take you directly to the Greek key stencil that I'm using, but you can also search for a retailer there. And if you don't have a retailer, you can order from that link, and it actually helps my small business out. I do get a little bit of credit for that, so I appreciate it if you used it. Thank you, Carrie. All right, we're gonna come around front. Let me grab my drill. Look at this. I just put my hand in paint. All right, let me bring you guys around. Let's go for a walk here. Hang on, I'm tangled up. All right, so I haven't decided what I want to do with the hardware as far as like colors or, you know, gilding waxes or anything like that. I have not decided. If you have any suggestions, I'd love to hear them. Okay, so what I did on this one, and what I'm going to show you on this one, is what you want to do is you want to start with the small, like a small drill bit, and then just work your way up. That's all you really got to do. But since there's like a little pokey outy thing in the middle, it was a little bit difficult to do. But that's all you do really, and I'm just gonna do it with you here online on this live because I can. So you try to get kind of in the center. This is woodubend. I applied this woodubend live last week when we worked on this. I got a little too high, but that's all right. Probably loud, I'm sorry. So woodubend, if you don't know, if you've never used it, it has all the properties of wood. You can sand it, stain it, cut it, drill it. You can do all of the things like you would with regular wood. I'm gonna get rid of this little, is that too loud? I didn't even think about that. Okay, then you just keep going up. I've got 3 different sizes here. That was, what was that, 1/16. This is 1/8. It's about double the size. I'm gonna go back in. Oops. I probably should have drilled this before I painted it, but I didn't have everything with me last week. Let me get that, there we go. A little chunk off. Ah! Start slow. So it creates that sawdust. No, can't see that. You create sawdust just like wood. All right. So the way I got the sizes, I knew I wanted to end up with this size because I just looked at the screw and kind of butted it up to the screw, like the other end, see about what size I would need. That's how I got the sizes. Just an FYI. Oops. I'm at an angle. Can't see. That's it. That's all it is. That's all it takes. So this door doesn't open. So you just stick your screw through there. And you're all done. Do y'all have any recommendations? Like, what do y'all see as far as color is concerned? You think I should do like a gilding wax? I kind of thought about lemonade, just for a pop of color, but not too much. What do y'all think? Maybe gold? I don't know. I don't do gold so much, but anyways, that's it. So here's where we're at. This is the piece right here. This is the other side that I did. Ooh, yeah, it's a little bit darker over here. You can see that. Okay. All right, well, like I said, there's a link there for you guys in the comments. You can use that link. You can search for a retailer near you. Lemonade would do great. See, I think so too. It's not too bright, but it's just a little bit of color. I don't know what I'm going to do at the top just yet. It's got a lot of detailing in it. Can y'all see that? Oh! Just kidding. It's got a lot of detailing in it. I don't know for sure what I want to do just yet. I forget what I was saying. Oh, ooh, copper's a good choice. Yeah, gilding wax. I think so too. So you can use that link. You can find a local retailer, search for one near you. And if you don't have a retailer, you can order from that link. It ships straight to your door, and it helps my small business out. I always appreciate you guys when you use it. If you have any questions, please tag me in the comments. I'll come back and read them and answer them for you. You can shoot my page a message if you feel like it. My business page is the Purple Posy. It's up in the description. You guys can go over there and give me a quick follow. I appreciate it. I will be back next Monday, same place, same time, to do a little bit more painting with you guys. Until then, y'all have a great week, and I'll see you then. Bye. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more, be sure to subscribe and click that bell icon to get notified when new videos are posted. Also, I typically put out a blog to show how I finish these pieces of furniture. If you head on over to my website, thepurpleposy.com, and sign up for the mailing list, you'll get notified when those blogs are posted as well.